This is One on One, a weekly sports talk show where your host, Mark Hall, sits down and talks with coaches and players of all of your favorite Skyhawk sports teams. And now your host, Mark Hall, with One on One.
Welcome to this week's edition of One on One. I'm Mark Hall. I'm here today with the head coach of the OVC champion soccer team, Phil McNamara. Thanks for coming by today, Coach.
It's a pleasure.
All right, for those who may not know, tell our listeners about the place that you grew up and your career in soccer across the pond.
Okay, well, I was brought up in a little town called Carrickfergus that's located about 10 miles outside of the city of Belfast in Northern Ireland. I was a youth national team player. I played a couple of years in England with Aston Villa Football Club, and then returned to the Irish professional leagues and played a few years and then made my way stateside. Correct
me if I'm wrong, but you have 3 separate coaching licenses in Europe?
Yes, I've completed that some time ago now, but once I finished my playing career in England, I started going into the coaching side of things and did a few qualifications and then made my way here to the United States and went through the scholarship process myself as a student athlete as a means of making it into the coaching world here in the U.S.
Before you came to UT Martin in 2010, you coached at Carson Newman College in Jefferson City, Tennessee for 8 years. Following your first season there, you led the Eagles to 7 straight NCAA Division II championship tournaments. You took your teams to the Final Four in 04 and 05. You won 5 regular season league titles with the Eagles, and you were named the South Atlantic Conference Coach of the Year 4 times. You're an accomplished and decorated coach. What made you decide to go from the Eagles to the Skyhawks and bring that winning tradition along with you to UTM?
Well, first of all, we had a great run at Carson Newman, there's no question, and we're very blessed and very lucky to have enjoyed that run, and we made a massive transformation in that Division II program, and for me, the natural stepping stone was to use the Division II level to learn the trade and learn the ins and outs of being as professional a coach as you can be as a means of always reaching the Division I level. So I'm very grateful to Phil Dane, who really plucked me out of the Division II level. And a lot of times the Division I athletic director has reservations about reaching down into either the NAIA levels or the NCAA Division II levels. And Phil Dane had no fear with that and thought the accomplishments at that level would put us in good stead for the OVC and the Division I level. So pleased that he made that decision, and even more pleased that we're able to celebrate the success we've had in a short period of time to make that hire worthwhile long term.
Well, it sounds like you sure did your homework. And in your first 3 seasons here so far, you've managed to win the OVC Tournament Championship twice, which are the first 2 in program history. Would you say that you're on the right track?
Oh, absolutely. We have a great level player here now. We worked extremely hard to bring a higher caliber soccer player, not just an athlete, but someone who knew the game well and could play the game well and in the right fashion. And we came in and brought a new style of play with us and new requirements for the players in practice and training and year-long training. And I think the results have showed here recently with the success that we've enjoyed. So extremely proud of the players, we've brought into the program who have taken the program to the next level, there's no question, and we're excited about that level and hoping we can maybe go one step further this time next year.
In addition to winning your second OVC tournament, you also led the team to its first ever outright OVC regular season championship while posting the program's best winning percentage for a season at .690. You can't do great things without great players, so tell us about the team and how proud you are of their accomplishments throughout this season.
Well, as I've said before, I could not be any more proud of this group of players. We actually graduated what would be regarded as the most successful class in the history of the program last year. So wow. We also lost 1 or 2 players that we would have preferred we didn't lose last year, and just 1 or 2 players decided because of their injuries and so forth that They just couldn't handle this level of commitment at the Division 1 level, and they were mainstay players for us and players that made a difference. So for us to have the breakout year we had this year on the back of graduating such a good class is quite close to being remarkable. So I can't throw enough credit towards this group of players. They really bought into the team aspect all year, and I can honestly say I barely had one player in the office all year complaining or asking questions about playing time and why they weren't starting and that sort of tone. So give them great credit for that. They did for sure from the beginning of the season. They bought into the team aspect of being successful, and which possibly means at times during the season making individual sacrifices both on and off the field in order for the team to be ultimately the last team standing in the OVC standings.
Those players helped the team to its second straight appearance in the NCAA tournament as well. Last year, they fell to the University of Memphis 7-0, but in this year's tournament, the Skyhawks lost a heartbreaker in overtime 1-0 against SEC opponent Kentucky. So what are some of the more significant improvements that you've seen in the team over the past year?
Well, we have a greater talent base, there's no question, and especially going forward, I think our forwards were much more dynamic as a group, not just individually, but as a group. I think we put a little more emphasis on defending from the front, our forwards doing some extra positioning and cover and running in order to make it more difficult for our opponents to penetrate forward. So that worked extremely well for us, but overall, two things. I think one, we were a little unlucky to lose as badly as we did last year to a real hot Memphis team, and one player in particular who had 4 shots that game and just happened to score 4 goals. That does not happen very often in the women's soccer game.
Right.
So that was an unfortunate result. The performance was much better than the result indicated, but for the people that don't understand the game, they just see the end result, which is, of course, a difficult 7-0 loss. But this year we came back a little stronger, fitter, more focused, and with more talent, and that showed against a great Kentucky side that came 5th in the SEC standings this year, beat Tennessee 1-0, beat Florida 1-0, and put a run of 5 wins together towards the end of the season in the SEC, which is not easy to do. So very pleased the way we performed on Friday night against Kentucky, and really disappointed we didn't make it to PKs. We actually felt like had we have got to PKs that we would have been the team to succeed. I feel like Mariah Klinke, our goalkeeper, is just another level of competitor and would have given us the foundation to be successful at that stage in the game. So disappointed we didn't get to that point, but extremely proud of the performance that got us to that overtime period.
4 of your players made it onto the All-OVC first team: Safira Coombs-James, who also won the OVC Freshman of the Year, Hannah McGowan, the player you just mentioned, Mariah Klinke, and Ashley Revez. And Alyssa Curtis made it onto the All-OVC second team. So these are all young players who should be coming back next season. How glad are you to have such big-time players on your squad?
We're delighted, and I must say, the environment here at UT Martin nurtures these players to come in and be successful as young freshmen, and that carries forward into the remaining years of their career. So delighted for those players, and must say that, of course, we probably could have chosen several other players, and of course that's voted on by our competitors' coaches, and a lot of times they'll go by the statistics on the year, but we had an extremely balanced team this year, and towards the end of the season I probably give even more credit to our defensive unit and goalkeeping as much as the attacking unit, who scored more points on the year, which is the most points we scored in any other season in the history of our program. So very balanced, very talented, very hard-working, very down-to-earth group of young ladies, and level-headed, and just a fun year. Very little drama on the year, which of course with 20 women is a short of a miracle. And we just had fun. We worked hard, and we probably about mid-season we probably got to the point where we felt like we could be the best team in the OVC, and of course we wanted to repeat our success from last year. And not only did we do that, but I think we went a few stages further than what we did last year. So that's enormously encouraging for our program and our players and the university.
So are you proud to be a part of a campus that puts women's athletics on the same level as men's? And not only that, they have teams that perform at such a high level year in and year out.
Well, I'm extremely proud of our entire athletic department. I feel like we have a real nice mannerism type kid on our athletic teams, and I feel like we got a fantastic coaching staff both on the male and the female side of things. And of course Danelle, our assistant athletic director, and Phil Dane, our athletic director, they I feel like do a great job in supporting both sides of the athletics, male and female. And there's many programs here that when I first arrived, I indicated to my staff and my players that we wanted our program to look just like theirs. And okay. I think there's a number of different programs you can look at on campus that just have an outstanding group of players and competitors and coaches, and one that just oozes class in every area that you would want your sports teams to do. So very proud of the athletic department here at UT Martin.
So after having a great 2012 season and being named the OVC Coach of the Year, what is the outlook for next season?
Well, right now we're going to take a little breather and we're going to let the players relax a little bit and enjoy being regular students on campus and get away from soccer and and enjoy the highlights on the year and the pats in the back that we're receiving, and then we'll crank it up back after Christmas and move into our spring season. Of course, a record-winning season such as this is, of course, very difficult to repeat, but of course that's everything we'll be working towards doing for the start of next season. We only graduate one starting player from this past Friday night's game against Kentucky, so that's very exciting. Graduate 2 seniors all in all, and so the signs look very favorable for the future of this program, and that goes along with having a good retention rate and doing the job on the front end, making sure you bring in kids that are capable of succeeding in this environment here at UTM and the OVC, and I think we've done a good job with that. I think the kids buy into what we have to offer here at UTM, and for me that's an unbelievable experience. Not many teams get to play this late in the postseason. We've done it back-to-back years, so extremely excited about the future of our program.
Well, one last question. If you had to pick, where would you rather be, Ireland or the United States?
That's easy. Back in Ireland.
All right, thank you, Coach, for taking the time out to come and talk with us. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
That was head coach of the Skyhawk soccer team, Phil McNamara. Be sure to tune in again next Friday for some more one-on-one.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of One-on-One. The views expressed in this show are not necessarily those of WUTM, the Department of Communications, or the University of Tennessee at Martin. Tune in next Friday at 10 and noon for your next installment of One-on-One.